Hello, happy to see you again to continue the customization of procedures in Pro Workflow System module. This video is dedicated to the customization of procedure stage transition. But once again, let me remind you that you can get the definitions of all workflow terms watching the presentation video titled Understanding Workflows Automation in Odoo with Pro Workflow System module. Let's jump into it. Before we talk about access control, let me first focus on two important features of procedures stage transition we can customize. The first is choice explanation. If it is set to require it, the user is forced to provide the justification of the choice she make in the process. If he decide to confirm the transition, he must provide the justification. However, if he decides to deny the transition, he also is forced to provide the justification. If set to optional, the default, the justification is not mandatory and the user can provide it or not. If it is set to disabled, the status bar button to enter the justification disappears and there is no option for the user to provide it. The second feature I want to focus on is job don't require it. If checked here and in the underlying workflow root stage of the from procedure stage, we have configured required jobs. So the execution of all the required jobs must be registered before the process buttons appears for the user. If we uncheck this field, the mandatory aspect of the required job we have configured at the workflow root stage disappears. If you uncheck this, the required jobs are not now mandatory to for the transition to happen, to be executed by the user. Now, let's see the central feature of this video, the access control. Access control for procedure stage transition completes access control of the from procedure stage. What this means is, for example, if a user is not granted or forbidden access to the creations, the from procedure stage, even if it is granted to the access to the procedure stage transition, he cannot access the buttons. So be careful to align the access policy of the from procedure stage and the access policy of the procedure stage transition. If we want a user to have access to this stage transition, we must ensure that he has access to the procedure from procedure stage. So if we click the button, we have two options for the access policy: a user based access policy or a role based access policy. If we choose, for example, user, one OSIRI user, you can see that the granted roles tab disappears. Inversely, if we choose some roles, we cannot anymore choose users. So the option is either user-based policy or role-based policy. We can also define a model here to filter the records concerned by this access policy. So for an example, let's configure access control for our example procedure stage transition. We can choose 3 users to whom we grant access. We see now here that we have a button which appears here, configure co-signature. This is what we will see in the next video. Bye and see you next.